retirement. It's a time we've worked so hard for. Most of us work all of our lives, and it's finally a time to focus on ourselves, on what we love to do. But when you're sharing this journey with a partner, a spouse, it can be a little bit complicated. Think about it. Suddenly, you're together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, every single minute of every single day. Yikes. For me, though, Ken's now been fully retired for about 10 months. So, I'm going to be sharing some of my thoughts on how not only to survive retirement together, but to thrive. And then I'll be sharing some of my thoughts on some of the challenges that we face as a fairly newly retired couple. And I decided to make this video today all about marriage. It's Ken's birthday, so happy 63rd birthday, Kenny. Now, when we retire, typically our daily routine changes dramatically. The structure and purpose that our jobs provided suddenly disappear, and we're left to try to figure out who we are outside of our careers. This can really be a daunting task, especially when you're trying to navigate it with someone else. And many couples find themselves struggling to adjust to this new pace of life. And it really can lead to feelings of restlessness, of discontent. And there's even a thing right now called a trend. I don't like to use that word, but a trend called silver divorce, where people with silver hair are getting divorced more and more often. I guess they get to this point, they retire, they get older, and they realize they have nothing in common. And I don't want that for any of us. So I have a few tips that work for Ken and I, and a few things that we're still working at. Number one, I believe, first of all, the first thing we all need to think about is communication. Of course, that's number one. It's so important, and yet it's so easy to assume that we're both going to be on the same page. And yet, oftentimes, it's not what really happens in real life. Like one of us could be dreaming of traveling the world, meeting new people, seeing everyone, and the other one could be dreaming about finally some time to unwind and just sit in front of the TV or read a good book or look at my iPad and have a cup of coffee. So, very two different opinions of what retirement is. And without communication, without talking about it, we may not know that that's what the other person is thinking. We might assume, yes, they're finally going to retire. We can travel the world. So we really need to sit down and have these honest conversations. And they really can save a lot of heartache in the future. So in our case, I know I need to be busy. I know I need to have things to do. I know I need to have plans and things to look forward to. And Ken's the one who can sort of putter. I call him a putterer. He can sit and rest and drink his coffee in the morning and then go putter it here and go putter there. And so we recognize this about each other, and we talk a lot about what we need to be happy. And then we typically come together every afternoon, 4:35ish, and just have a conversation. If we have it over a beer, that's great. If not, that's great. But just have a conversation. Hey, how was your day? Hey, how was your day? What's new? What do you want to do tomorrow? Etc. But communication is the key. But remember, please, when you communicate, no judging, no loud voices, because everyone is different. Everyone is unique. Everyone has different plans, different goals. And that's what makes the world go round. And I say again, no judging, because just because they don't want what you want doesn't make them wrong. Or just because you don't want what they want doesn't make you wrong. So just communicate. And then not only communicate about your lifestyle that you want, but communicate about finances, because retirement can really be a huge shift financially as well. Make sure you're on the same page there too, that you're aligned about budgets, savings, spending, what you can spend, what you really can't spend, and planning for the future. Do you want to downsize your house? Do you want to keep your house? Do you need a new car? Do you need a new roof? Whatever those things are, these are things that you need to tackle as a team. So number one is always talk, talk, talk. Number two that works for us is time apart. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive, and we've been married a heck of a long time, almost 40 42 long, painful years. No, I tease about that all the time. No, almost 42 years. But I think time apart works for most couples. And I'm not talking about every moment of every day. For us, Ken golfs in a man's league. I golf with the ladies. Then we come together, at least golf once a week together. I um, I do my speeches and I do my videos, and Ken putters in the yard or putters in the garage. And so we do have a lot of time apart, but then we look forward to coming together. And I think it works for us, and it benefits most couples to have a little bit of time away from each other, so they'll be better as a couple when they come together. And then we don't formally plan date nights, or we don't even call them date nights. But I would say at least once every 2 or 3 weeks, Ken and I just go out together and we talk. We have a beer and we just talk and talk. We laugh, we share, we joke. There's a place in Arizona that we go that plays sort of a bingo game, and it's fun. So we just have a good time at least once or two, or once every 2 or 3 weeks. And if you want to call them date nights, if you want to plan them in advance, that is fabulous, but it works to get together as well. So time apart and time together. Now, some of the challenges that we face, and this one's a big one for us, a challenge that we really do face is our health. Now, I know that Ken and I are at a crossroads at the age that we're at, and we're a bit overweight. We both like to have too many drinks at happy hour. We both like to eat too much. We both like to not move as much as we should. And so we need to make a commitment and stick to it to become healthier, or we know as we age, we're going to face the very real possibility that one of us or both of us has some bad health issues, or potentially will die sooner than we would have otherwise. So we know this, and yet here we are talking about it again. So if you have any tips for me, I would really appreciate it. And last for us, as far as challenges goes for this video, is we've committed to 1 year of amazing travel, 14 cruises, 29 different countries, lots of adventures. And I have to say, I'm loving it when I'm away, but I miss being home. I really do. Okay, and not home as in our house, but home as in the grandkids, the kids, my parents. I miss that way more than Ken does. And so right now, what we do is I come home more often, and I typically spend more time home than he does. And so that works for us. For example, the next time that we're home, I'm home for a couple of weeks, and he's only home for a couple of days, and he's going to go back to Arizona, and I'll meet him there. It works for us today. So after 10-ish months of Ken being retired, these are our ups and our downs. These are the challenges and the fun things that we've done. Now, for those of you who are a little bit further along on the retirement journey, I would love to hear a bit more about what you do and some of your ups and some of your downs, and see where you have where it's worked for you and where it hasn't worked for you, because I know our ups and downs are going to change over time, and I would love to be prepared for that. So I'm Maureen Dobransky. This is Life Starts at Retirement. I produce a retirement lifestyle video every Saturday at noon. And I focus on tips, fun, adventures, travel, lifestyle, anything retirement related. I would love to have you join me on this journey. Just click the subscribe and follow me along.